Welcome to the Jacob Wayne Show. I am your Jacob Wayne, and with me once again is arms beef, balls are heavy, Kellen Gibbons. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well. I got
Hell yeah.
Papa's lasagna. Wait, that's
What?
Right.
Oh, Papa's lasagna. Okay, I get it. Took me a minute. All right, we're gonna get into a bit of a speed round because you got something you got to get to. So, first of all, what you sipping?
Oh, I finally remembered to get my sweet, fresh squeezed.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking drink it.
That's the good stuff right there.
I just barely poured my coffee, so it's a bit too hot. So I'm having water first.
There you go. It's always a nice thing to do for your stomach.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Send a little water down before the coffee.
I heard that a celebrity, with their diet, they drink a hot glass of water first thing in the morning. Think you could do that? Doesn't sound like the worst thing ever, but in some ways it's just like, how fucking dare you?
Why though? Does that kick off your
That would be a
stomach,
thing in China though. They drink their water warm or sometimes hot because they like cold water's bad for you.
Well, I feel like that's like the same thing as doing like an herbal tea, maybe with like no caffeine or anything, just straight up, just like flavoring some hot water. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think hot water needs a little bit of flavor, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. And I don't think there's any difference between that and like an herbal tea. I think it'd be a total way to do that same thing.
Yeah, but that's me and my Western medicine, you know. We're all wrong over here. It's all genius over there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it moving. We won't do any food chatting today since we got a kind of restricted time frame. So we will get right into bad news, good news. If I can find the thing. This is another thing. Why don't you tell me about food while I get that? I want that drop.
Let's see. I think the best food I've had in the last little while, I'm house sitting, so I'm little town out north where I usually am.
What town?
In Richmond.
Now, for the folks, I'm a bit of a geography buff. Like, where is that? What's it squish between?
It's a stone's throw between Franklin, Idaho, and Smithfield, Utah. It's
right on that top border.
Yeah, it's pretty much the last big town. The last town with like a gas station before Idaho that like is on the highway, of course. So yeah, there's a little diner, a little greasy spoon. Apparently there's a bar in the back. I don't know. It's like they don't say there's a bar. They don't talk about it, but there is one. I don't know. It's weird. But they got the Russell Burger, and it's you remember the ham and cheese sandwiches they used to have in like school lunch?
Mm-hmm. Like, they're like in like the tinfoil
wrapped
thing
up.
Or whatever. Yeah.
They basically like make a burger with a bottom bun, and then when they go to put the top bun on, they just put one of those sandwiches on, and it's delicious.
And that's for Russell in town.
I guess there's a dude named Russell.
He's like, yeah,
on the burger.
Yeah. All right. Well, that does sound good. I have made a grilled cheese burger before, where it's two grilled cheese sandwiches and just a burger in the middle.
Yep, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, anyway, found it. Here we go. Bad news. Good news. Bad news. Good news. All righty, you ready for the bad bad news.
Yeah.
Like I said last week, we try not to get like really bad news. We're not trying to depress you. So I just went and found, something a little light bad news. But hopefully, if I find really good news, we'll share that. But the bad news is Netflix lost viewers for the first time in 10 years and says password sharing is to blame. So Netflix has lost 200,000 US subscribers in the first quarter of 2022, marking its first drop in customers in more than a decade, the company has announced. It attributes the losses to factors such as stronger competition, the Ukraine-Russia conflict, and password sharing. I'll stop right there and say they lost 700,000, I think, with the Ukraine-Russian conflict because they left Russia.
Yeah, like that was they did that. Yes.
I think they can handle 700,000 viewers, a loss there. But anyway, I find it funny how companies and all that blame that these days. Couldn't possibly be because they're making too much money. But
exactly.
In a letter to shareholders, the entertainment company said it relied on password sharing within households to fuel growth early on. But that in addition to its 222 million paying subscribers, there are now an estimated 100 million households using someone else's account. We really see that second group as a tremendous opportunity because they're clearly well qualified, Netflix chief operating officer Greg Peters said during Tuesday's earnings call. And so now our job is to better translate that viewing and that value that those consumers are getting into revenue. Last month, Netflix said it won't ban password sharing, but it plans to start charging for it. It will be testing the change in 3 countries, Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru. How nice of them. For 2,380 Chilean pesos, $2.99 US dollars, and 7.9 Peruvian sol, respectively, users can add up to 2 profiles. So Netflix forecasts it would add 2.5 million customers this quarter, but lost 200,000 customers. And that figure excludes, the 700,000 in Russia. So, what are your thoughts, sir?
Well, I feel like they've had their run of the market for so long. Like all that's happened is they're not gaining subscribers. It sounds like it's like, but you have 220 million people paying you $5 a month. Like, you're fine. And you're getting more competition. Welcome to the market. Now that you have competition, you're gonna lose, especially when you don't finish shows and take all the good shows off your platform.
Well, that's kind of the rub to me, is that they were like, password share early on to grow our business. So they were cool with it at one point. And I remember early on, like, when Netflix just would mail you DVDs. Like, I was like, that's goofy. I would never do that. It's like, maybe I'll do this Redbox thing. And then my dorm roommate, Nate, he am I getting his name right?
Yeah.
For some reason that struck my ear weird. He had Netflix on his laptop. And then he would watch stuff occasionally, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, streaming. And like that's when it first kind of clicked with me. And there's just a glut of stuff on Netflix that I don't give a fuck about. And then they slowly started adding, like the occasional movie that I was into. And then, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like Stranger Things might have been the first like Netflix series. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'm into that. And I'm going to like binge watch it and all that stuff. And part of the whole thing to me is it's like, you want to be able to talk with other people about Stranger Things or whatever else, like Ozark, so on and so forth. So you want to make sure they see it. So with my buddies who shall remain nameless, I'll be like, hey, why don't you use my Netflix account and you've watched that show? And then we can like catch up and watch it. And then they're like, hey, okay, like, I don't know, thanks. And it used to just be Netflix. But nowadays, I think a lot of people like each pay for a service.
Yeah.
And then they all kind of just, it's like a password orgy.
Yeah.
They all just like get in the middle and like, oh, yeah, let's binge in a puddle.
You got a Hulu? I'll give you my HBO.
Dude, I hear you can't get rid of HBO after you catch it, though. Like, there's no treatment. But I don't know. So it was interesting that it's like, yeah, you knew it at the beginning and you used it to grow your business. And now that you're like, ow, like they don't like us as much. Like we're taking that away. And it is kind of a minuscule charge, but they also have like upped their prices to like, what is it, 15 or $20 now? I don't currently pay for Netflix.
I'm way behind. I was saying $5. I forgot how much they've upped it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, they keep throwing it on there.
And
well,
I think,
yeah. Go ahead.
I just feel like the internet's just waiting for them to like do something like that, and then like I think they're gonna lose so many subscribers if like once that comes here. Hopefully those countries, those 3 countries, I'll just drop them.
Yeah,
show them who's boss. That's what the market's about.
I can't remember if it has a particular name, but it's like the passive income of paying for it every month. If it's like, even if it's not your main thing, you're just like, just keep it on. Like, and especially if it's like, my buddy, he watches it. So yeah, I'm not going to cancel it. He uses it more than I do or whatever. Like, but yeah, as soon as they announce this, if the person who's currently sharing theirs with me is just like, dude, fuck that, I'm not paying more, I'm just canceling it. I'm like, all right, guess I don't get Netflix.
Yep.
And then, I mean, I think that's kind of where we're moving towards with all these streaming services is, unless you're, like rich or at least upper middle class or something, to have all the streaming services, it is equivalent or maybe even more than a cable bill. So it's like, it's become that. And so I currently only pay for HBO Max. And it's like, that's the one where I'm like, I want that because there's always stuff on there that I want to watch. And HBO content that's just not going to go anywhere else that I want to catch up on, like a lot of really great shows that it's like I haven't even got to yet. And everything else is canceled, but it's like, yeah, when you finally decide to release Stranger Things, I'll turn it on for a month and watch that and then turn it back off. You know what I mean? Like, it's like essentially paying for a movie ticket. I was like, I'll binge watch Ozark and then turn it off. And it's like, if I got to pay for a month, I'll pay for a month, but if you keep up password sharing and all that stuff, it creates the incentive to like just keep it on. But like in the the chat comments on this article, when I saw it pop up, the debate became really similar to the music downloading argument, which I'll admit, if you break it down to just pure, are you stealing something? I don't know if I feel completely like 100% that it's like innocent to password share, but I think it is just the nature of the game. Like, and I think that they can handle it, and I think that they're aware of that. And it's like good for their business to share. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think it's fine. If they ever cared, they could make it so you can only use it with one login at a time. That would be the thing, because then it wouldn't matter how many people you shared the password with. Only one person can watch at a time, and maybe make it so you can set the primary IP or whatever, something like that.
Well, and that is where it gets a little goofy, because it's like, say you come out and visit, and you pay for Disney Plus, and you're like, oh hey, let me pull up my Disney Plus so we can watch that thing. Exactly. Then it's like, what screen are you on? You're like, shut up, Disney. But exactly, one of the arguments, if I can remember it, one dude was like, well, it's like when you had a CD back in the day, you bought the CD and it wasn't illegal for you to burn that CD and give it to a friend. So then, but then if you put the CD up on the internet and shared it with everybody, then that's piracy. And it's like, I get that, like the difference between those two things. But then this other person was like, no, it's not like that. You're not buying a movie, you're buying a service where the content shifts. And it was somewhat of an interesting debate, but I just think it's at the end of the day, bad news, dumb move by Netflix, and just even the phrasing of their stuff. Like, what was it? It was like, we really see that second group as a tremendous opportunity. Like, just shut the fuck up. You're pissed at that second group.
Yeah.
It was like, God damn it, pay me money.
Yeah.
And you said it earlier. Finish your fucking shows and have some good content.
Yeah.
Like, nothing that starts on Netflix, like 8 out of 10 of them like suck.
Yeah.
And then the 2 that are good, you're like, I don't know if I want to start that though. Like, let's see if they finish it first. Like, I'm still really butthurt that they just dropped Mindhunter. Did you ever watch that one? And that might have been more on David Fincher, the producer of the show. And like, they were planning season 3 and the budget was going to be even bigger than season 2, which was pretty big. And they're like, it's indefinitely like on hiatus, meaning probably canceled, but you never know. And it was just like, it was such a bummer because it was just like the beginnings of serial killer profiling in the FBI, the dramatization of that. It was like really good. And then it's like, well, it's just done. And you're like, well, okay. So like right now, I know some people have kind of fallen off of it a bit, but I really love Stranger Things still. I'm going to try to watch that. I have a really good memory of sipping whiskey and watching that with Corey. July 4th, we like binge watched the whole season.
There you go.
And just watch fireworks out the window.
Nice.
And which was cool because in that season they had like the July 4th fireworks theme. So it's like it all kind of vibed together. But and then finish Ozark, and then after that, it's like, unless it has something like it has Better Call Saul right now, like that's all I use it for. Otherwise, pretty much after that, I try to occasionally check in on those MCU Star Wars shows on Disney Plus, and when those aren't happening, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Disney. And so I just have my HBO and YouTube.
There you go.
Occasionally rent a movie on Amazon if I really need to. And
yeah, that's nice.
I mean, that's the other thing too, is I had my Amazon Prime, which I put on pause because the yearly charge was about to come back around. And I was like, I'm not quite ready for that chunk to be taken out, so I'll just put it on pause. But I will say that Amazon's content is a good contrast to the other streaming services, in the sense that you can watch like Halloween 3, or like Chud, which is like cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. It's like all that shit that's just like, all right, B movie schlock, half-assed weird 80s horror movies, Amazon Prime. I'm like, thanks for covering that. So anyway, to move on to good news though, which stays in the same theme, is CNN Plus will shut down a month after the streaming service's buzzy launch. Have you even heard of CNN Plus?
No.
I hadn't either. And even the title was like their Buzzy launch. Don't they mean buggy? And it's just somebody writing at NPR that doesn't know the lingo.
I mean, maybe they thought there was a buzz, but a buzz would mean we would know what it was, probably.
Yeah, Buzzy launch is like it's good. Like people are hearing about it. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
You mean Paramount Plus? Why is everybody just using Plus?
Because it works. It's, in terms of branding, it's like it's not jumbled, you know. It's like CNN illumination, like whatever it is. Just that plus. It's like you get in that plus stuff.
Huh.
So I think it's just okay. Everybody's ripping off Disney. And well, because it's like HBO Now used to be HBO Go. And there was a lot of confusion. It's like, wait a minute, my HBO Go, is that going to cross over to HBO Now? Well, now it's not going to, but if you get your Go, that's not going to work on your PS4, but the HBO Now will. Now? It's like, who's on third bullshit? So it's like, let's just all put pluses at the end and not be confused.
Yeah.
But yeah, CNN Plus, the cable news network streaming platform, is shutting down on April 30th, just 1 month after its buzzy launch. They doubled down.
Yeah.
According to an internal memo obtained by NPR, management decided to shutter the news service following a merger between Discovery and CNN's parent company, Warner Media, earlier this month to form Warner Bros. Discovery. The decision to shut down CNN's subscription offshoot platform aligns with Warner Bros. Discovery's direct-to-consumer strategy, according to the memo sent by CNN's incoming CEO, Chris Licht. Ooh, that's a bad name. I feel like we're going to be hearing that one more. And an audio recording of an all-hands meeting on Thursday afternoon held by Licht. In a complex streaming market, consumers want simplicity and an all-in service which provides a better experience and more value than standalone offerings, Licht wrote. So he's just like pushing it off, but this is good news to me because I think we've discussed this before. I don't even think we should have 24-hour news at this point. I think it's toxic.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, you have the internet. So any big thing that happens at like 2 a.m, it's like you could get a little alert that says like, oh, this plane crashed here. And you're like, oh my God, and you get a quick little update on your AP press or whatever.
Yeah.
But like in general, the guy at the desk breaking down the news of the day, I think we should go back to like 1 hour.
Yeah.
And then maybe right after that, there is something that's more like a think piece, like 60 minutes. Like they really do a deep dive into a subject, maybe. But yeah, it's like the 24-hour news cycle has led to the partisan bullshit we see today.
Yeah.
Because they have to sit at that desk and they're like, well, we got to get viewers for an entire fucking day. So let's scare them, piss them off, confuse them. So yeah, like we'll just push propaganda. And great. And, oh, that's actually a great idea. A bunch of politicians and corporations say, and then just funnel money at them to spew their shit. And I think there's something to that. Like maybe people back in the day were a little less informed. But in general, I think if you take in the internet aspects, I think that might be healthier for us to be a little less informed by our televisions and like think pieces.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, it's like, unless you really want to know about the conflict in Ukraine, I don't think your like daily news consumption really needs to beat you over the head with it. Because at the end of the day, you're just a human being trying to get through life, trying to get to work, try to stay positive, get along with your neighbors, go grocery shopping, all that shit.
Yeah.
So if you're just constantly in your ears, just like, what does the Ukraine conflict have to do with the 2020 midterm election? And just like, just panic.
Yep. Exactly.
So I don't know. That is an interesting thing, though, is the balance between being well informed, and it's because it's just like sometimes you got to leave that shit alone, because then sometimes you can have too much shit in your head, and it just becomes a jumble. There's something nice about like going back to World War II and you just read the paper, and yeah, it might have been some fucking US propaganda bullshit. So it is nice today that you can see through that stuff a little better. But you're like, all right, the war is moving east. Stocks and family circus still isn't funny. Okay, good. Anyway, back to hanging out with my friends.
Yep. That's the way.
So yeah, that is our bad news, good news for this week. We are recording on April 22nd. So happy Earth Day. When was that? 2 days ago?
No, today.
It is today?
Yeah.
I always get 420 and Earth Day jumbled up.
Yeah. Makes sense. It started in 1970. First Earth Day.
And that's when we knew the country was falling apart.
Oh, yeah?
These fucking hippies.
Because
trying to care about the world and the environment.
Gaylord Anton Nelson started it.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Well,
the Lord would never.
No. How much time you got, sir?
I got about 20 minutes, so
20 minutes. Okay, we'll do music real quick. Take a nice little breather. It still makes me laugh a little. Do you have a favorite part of that?
I like the last part probably. No, like the.
Yeah. I think I like the part where it kind of picks up and it sounds like Yoko's at like the aerobics gym, like yeah. That might be my favorite part. I'm trying to conceptualize the reduced version we eventually get to. But yes, as of right now, I'm still liking the whole long one.
Yeah.
All right, music updates with me on my end. This is Friday, so this weekend will already be past. But playing Foco MX this weekend with all these other fucking artists, like 300 musicians in Fort Collins.
Ooh. You
just zip around town and try to see as much as you can. It's like a weekend long festival. And Gamba Pa's playing right at the end at the after party at the Lyric Theater. Should be a good time. Have some friends coming down to visit for it. And it'll be busy. But what upcoming things do you have that maybe is after next Wednesday?
I'll still be doing the musical after that comes out. So, yep, currently
that is the SpongeBob.
Yep. Yeah. It's pretty. It's an interesting one.
How's that been going?
It's been a little rough. I'm sure nobody in the theater company is going to be watching this, but just they made several poor decisions. I've decided this theater company, they're pretty new. It seems like they need to They need a heartbreaker. They need a person that's just like, no, you can't do that. That's too hard.
Was the poor decision to make the SpongeBob musical completely serious?
Well, it's not
Like a drama. It's
no,
like,
they didn't try to do
oh.
that. First of all, that was just, it's actually doesn't seem like it, but that's a really hard musical. Like it's harder than any other musical I've ever been a part of. Like they have just the Foley artist alone is insane. You know, the person making everybody's noises when they walk and shit. I'm like, what?
Huh. Yeah.
Why? Why would you do that? I would have like been like, no, let's not skip that. They put the band up on the stage, and then but the rest of the orchestra is down in the pit, so we can't hear each other when like all shit's going. So sometimes we'll like end the song twice because the orchestra is like behind or ahead or something.
Oh
Like,
shit.
yeah, so stuff like that, kind of alarming. Still haven't. I would say we still have not ever like nailed some of the things. And
Have you performed yet, or is this all
no,
rehearsals
it
still?
opens tonight. So, and we none of
Oh.
the rehearsals have really been like spot on. They've all had
Yeah.
some things, but we'll see. We'll
I've
see when
never
it
heard
comes.
of a Foley artist before. That's just the sound effects guy, sort of.
Yeah. So that's my friend Emily's doing it at this show, and she's like a great drummer. So she's doing it. She's doing amazing. But like, man, so hard.
Hey Emily, how you doing? She married or something?
Yeah.
Oh, figures. It was like Foley artist. That's yeah, that's intriguing.
She's like
Do you like
Roger
water or
Waters.
orange juice, baby? I mean, what's going on? Woo!
Cacao.
Yeah,
She
it'd
does
be
have all
fun
kinds
with
of fun
that.
stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to hook up with the Foley artist.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was fast.
Do the little slide whistle.
Yeah. I wish I could think of more sound effects off the top of my head, but we'll move right along. I highly recommend everybody go look up Danny Elfman's Lollapalooza performance. That was a lot of fun. And my boy Wes Borland playing guitar in it.
Yeah.
Finally doing something that's a little elevated beyond the Limp Bizkit thing. Interesting combination of musicians and
Indeed.
good set. I enjoyed watching it live on the YouTubes. With that, new releases. I guess there's a new Primus track, like newer than the last one we talked about. I Follow the Fool. Oh. I haven't seen that yet. I'm sure that'll piss off the conspiracy theorists again, which is good to me. A new track from The Smile, Free in the Knowledge. Let's see here. Oh, new release from Geezer. That's the Geezer Butler, the bassist for Black Sabbath.
Oh.
He always does some kind of grooving stuff.
Interesting.
And it looks like a new single from Bacao Rhythm and Steel Band. That's that steel drum band. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had to get into that sometime. Do you know much about the history of steel drums?
A little bit.
We should do like a deep dive and talk about that more because I found it really interesting. But I want to do a little more research before we even dive into it. Maybe we could do that on this other podcast I heard of. I don't know.
We could do a 5-part Jimmy Buffett special. Do a whole episode on the lad from Trinidad.
Oh my God. That reminds me, this is just totally like whatever story. Not really relevant to much of anything, just because you said Jimmy Buffett. I was driving with Shockey like the other day. We're going to get breakfast on the weekend. And he's telling me about some like stock thing and like how the current market's kind of in a bubble, and especially in regards to the housing market and some of the cryptocurrency stuff. And just like, yeah, it's just like everybody's kind of like, a lot of economists are worried that where it's headed is that we could really be going into a really rough recession, one that might even be worse than 2008. And I mean, apparently even Jimmy Buffett's been saying it's going to go wrong. And I was like, Jimmy Buffett. And I was like, he's really into stocks? Like I had no idea. And he's just like, oh,
wait,
not Jimmy Buffett, Warren Buffett. It's just like, oh, okay, I've heard that name. I don't know much about Warren Buffett. Is he one of those dudes that eats babies? I hear.
Probably.
Him and George Soros play tennis, then eat babies after.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I assumed, but I was like, Jimmy Buffett. So I had no idea he's such a buff on stocks.
Hey.
Anyway, that made me laugh.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
How much time you got, sir?
Oh, getting pretty close. What you think?
Well, we could do quick movie thing or just go into this day in history and call it good.
Well, how
it's
many
up
movies?
To you.
I don't have any movies, so if you want to talk about your movies, you go ahead.
Did it? I don't think. Did we talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I don't think we talked about it on here. I think
I don't think we did on here.
Yeah.
All I can say is that movie is one of the best movies I've seen in the last 10 years.
Nice.
It made me really emotional, and it also made me laugh. Like its ability to go from like insane, hilarious, what the fuck, like to oh my god, that and just like I went with Shockey, and we had couples sitting on either side of us, and so we're all kind of squished in there. Not really squished, they're nice seats, but I don't like to sit next to people in the theater. I like to kind of like perch up in the back away, but that was our only option. And movie starts, it's funny, we're all chuckling, like, and right from the get-go you're like, fuck, this is gonna be good. Like you can kind of just tell. And as some of the emotional bits start hitting, like there must have been 7 times in the movie where like I'm like kind of doing that like sit up straight, like okay. Yeah. And they're just like kind of holding it in. Like I have to like try to hold it in because otherwise I'm gonna fucking blubber.
Yeah.
And then I can just hear the dude on my left like sniffling.
Yeah.
I think Shockey was playing it cool. He's a tough guy. But I mean, as I talked to him after, it really got to him too. But it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. The title's amazing. It's basically a crazy kinetic kung fu cartoon that's also like a really grounded family drama. And it has a lot of amazing like Chinese cultural elements, which for me personally just got me even more into it. It reminded me of living in Hangzhou and like in college, just when I was studying Chinese history and just culture.
Hell yeah.
So I really don't want to say much else about the movie other than you should just go see it. I don't think any prudes or Mormons or whatever listen to this podcast, but I guess that's the only thing I could say is there will be a warning. It is an R. There's some, R-rated stuff in there. That's all I can say. Otherwise, everybody should see it. And it was incredible. And there was like 1/3 in, I was like, I have to own this movie. Like, how often do you say that when you see movies these days,
Yep.
It's like, I want a physical copy, like just sitting in my room that I can just throw in whenever I want.
Yeah.
But after the movie was over, it just felt like coming down from like a mushroom trip or something. I was just like, oh my God, like I need a second to just walk around the house and like stare at the carpet and just breathe.
Wow.
Like kind of just hit me hard. So highly recommend it. And I guess we'll let that be the movie talk for today.
There we go. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, if you can wait, I'd love to watch it with you for the first time. If not, I understand.
Gotcha.
But with that, let's get into this day in history.
Woo. All right.
We still need we need new sound drops and we need a thing. I'll work on that.
All right, we got some birthdays first.
Okay.
Jack Nicholson. Woo. Robert Oppenheimer. Boo.
666, the mark of the beast.
Was he an asshole?
Well, he made the atomic bomb. So
he made that,
arguably.
but like, wasn't it like one of those tales of it's like, what have I done?
Yeah, but he still did it.
So the 666 is more for the bomb, and I'll give him a.
Oh wow!
But somebody might have eventually done it anyway. So
yeah,
tragic figure, I suppose.
Indeed. We have two Vladimirs, Nabokov and Lenin.
You have an opinion on them? Is Lenin the Russian one? I didn't realize his first name was like, well, I mean, probably, of course he's Russian, but like the great leader, Lenin.
Yep.
I didn't realize his name was Vladimir.
Yeah. It's a big name over there.
I was about to be like, wasn't it John Lennon? Oh.
Wait,
All right. Anyway.
Let's see. See, the Paris Agreement was signed. Yeah. The American football player Pat Tillman, who left his lucrative NFL career to enlist in the Army following September 11th attacks, died in Afghanistan. Although it was initially reported he was killed by enemy forces, it was eventually revealed that he died in a friendly fire incident. I'd never heard
What the hell is even that?
Yeah. Well, I was like, what?
I remember that story.
Yeah, I don't
It was
remember
crazy.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Man, kids these days, they don't even know.
Yep.
That's fucking 9/11 right into the Iraq war, and then just the rest of Bush's presidency. Like, Jesus Christ.
Wackadoo.
You know what I'll say? This might be controversial.
Yeah.
Is don't get me wrong, Trump's worse than Bush. But things that happened during Trump's presidency compared to things that happened during Bush's, sometimes it was like Trump was so inept that nothing like could really like go off kind of like it did under Bush. Mm-hmm. And that's not a hey, that is not a pat on the back for Trump. That's just you're such a fucking fuck up piece of shit. That there was actually like, well, he did threaten this, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. Like, so that was like a perk to like Trump for some people. It's like, well, he didn't get us in a war. It's like, no, he just used the mother of all bombs in like the Middle East for some reason, just to use it. Like, yeah, he did all kinds of dumb military things, but it was just, well, like he negotiated the shitty withdrawal from Afghanistan. We totally should have left Afghanistan, but it should have been handled better. And Biden just basically had to go with what was already in place. So you can't really blame him.
Oh, they tried.
Sorry, you can't really blame him.
Sorry.
There's plenty you can blame him for. That one, I just get us the fuck out. But anyway, that's politics, by the way.
Yep. Well, speaking of, Richard Nixon died, 1994.
I was about to air horn that, but I don't know if I want to. Here, we'll go with.
Lord knows I have.
There you go. We need a Spirou.
Spirou, you hear me? They're even recording and coming after me in the grave, Spirou. You know them.
During World War I, German forces introduced the first systemized use of chemical warfare using chlorine gas.
666, the mark of the beast.
Indeed. Also shitty, in 1889, by federal decree, white settlers were allowed into Indian Territory, sparking a land rush involving tens of thousands in what became Oklahoma. The Sooners. That's what my girlfriend's mascot is those dudes.
Six.
No, play it.
We've been using it a lot today. Jesus, Earth Day's rough.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've totally heard about those guys. Some fucked up shit. So.
It is interesting with, like, in terms of, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, synchronicity or whatever. It's like Earth Day, and then all this fucked up shit happened. But it's just like, it's the first real nice day before summer, and perfect time to test chemical warfare.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well,
anything else?
That's all the things for today.
Wow, that was a depressing one.
Yeah.
Well,
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Good actor. Yeah.
Yeah. Although him in The Shining.
Daddy, chill.
True.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, that was a weird note to end on. But all I suppose is the long arm of progress, road of progress is long and hard. It's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but be committed to loving yourself and loving those in your life, and try to love your neighbor. But if you don't love them, be kind.
Yeah.
Ta-ta!
Later.
Thank you for listening to The Jacob Wayne Show. If you would like to contact us, please write us at fogkoshka@gmail.com. That is FAKOSHKA@gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Simply search The Jacob Wayne Show and it should pop right up. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. Please write us. It helps add content to the show and makes the show even better for you, the listener. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome